Good evening and welcome to tonight's episode of On the Mark with Mark Hamade, right here on 95.5 The Rock. I'm Morgan Lillick. I'll be your host tonight, joined as always by Mark Hamade. Mark, the COO of PKM Steel. How's it going tonight, Mark?
Good. I'm a little sick, but I'm making it through.
Always toughing it out. We appreciate you taking the time to come in here to studio, despite the fact you're feeling under the weather, to share some great information with our listeners tonight. We're talking about public relations and communications, a vital source for any company that wants to succeed. You've got to have a knowledgeable PR team, or at least have a knowledgeable PR person, and really be able to communicate your relationship between your business to the general public. And Mark, first off, I want to start by asking you what public relations means to you.
Well, Morgan, I can say it in one line. Some people achieve greatness, and some hire public relation officers.
Give a little bit more information on that for our listeners out here who, they get it, but they want to know more.
Well, it's all about branding. It's all about whether it's your organization, it's all about letting them know that. I look at YouTube. YouTube wasn't necessarily the greatest thing out there. There were better companies better than YouTube. But when they had that YouTube video, the monkeys in Africa or the gorillas or whatever it was, it hit viral. Everybody saw it, and then YouTube became a phenomena and so forth. You look at Apple, okay? They have great products, but they're able to market it. So it's really getting that branding about your company and letting every person live it and breathe it. If they see it, if they feel it, then if it's a great product, you're there. So I think in the radio business, for example, if no one is able to listen to this show, how are they going to know if it's good or not? So the most important thing, the first thing in PR, is to be able to get to the audience and the mass audience what you do and how you do it, and accentuate that in a way that people can really understand it.
Definitely so, Mark. Now, how vital is PR to your day-to-day as the COO out at PKM Steel?
It is incredibly critical. PR is the most important thing in any business. It's even important to me. I always say, when a person is looking to be hired, it doesn't matter how their resume is and what they've done. It's all about how their PR is. If people love them, people will spread that across the world, and people will want to hire them. And for PKM, doing Steel Day, joining with other organizations as far as doing campaigns and so forth, and letting everybody know what we do, it's critical. It's critical to get business. You want people waking up every morning thinking about PKM and what it does. And hopefully then if they have a project, they're coming to us.
Mark, talk a little bit. We know you are a big proponent of PKM Steel Day, bringing that here to Salina. What else have you done to improve PR at PKM Steel since your time there, and what results have you seen from those efforts?
I think partnering in the community with our wellness plan and with partners, we've done that. I Twitter a lot, Facebook a lot about what we do, and we get involved with Big Brothers and Big Sisters on their annual bowling campaign and various things, and we help in the community wherever, Salina Tech. So we put ourselves out in the forefront in everything that we're passionate in and believe in. And sometimes when you put yourself out in the forefront, it causes people to speak. But I always say you have to be true to yourself. Good or bad, you've got to have a stance.
Absolutely, and that's vital in our industry as well here on the radio side. Every chance we get to partner with a community organization or group that is going to benefit the community, put out goodwill and good feelings to the general public, to our listeners, we take every opportunity we can. It's critical for our radio group to be able to take advantage of those opportunities, because building goodwill with your listenership is what it's all about. You have more listeners, you in turn bring in more business. It's not about the dollars. The dollars take care of themselves as long as you are taking care of the people who are enjoying your product. Mark, now I know there's a lot of common misconceptions held by the general public and employees of bigger companies, smaller companies about public relations. How would you try to educate these employees and the public otherwise on why public relations is not a necessary evil, but really a tool to be used for good?
Well, everything we do is public relations. Everything we do. Whether you're walking to the grocery store and getting some bananas, or whether you're out there, having a drink somewhere, everything we do is reflected on, and everything we do is PR. So you want to do everything that you do great, and you want to do it well. So I think people have this misconception that PR is just with a firm or so forth, and it really isn't. Everything we do is PR.
By definition, public relations, it's relating to the public. And in most businesses, you have to relate to the public each and every day, whether you're a retail business, a small boutique where people are coming in, walking by the storefront, seeing what you got put up there. Decorating your storefront is a part of public relations. That is your window to the world. You have an opportunity to speak to the people walking by simply by what they see in the window. Maybe you draw them in that way. Once you have them in the door, public relations takes precedence once again. You're going to be visiting face-to-face with that particular person or group of people, and your opportunity to sell is going to be determined in a matter of seconds by whether they like your products, of course, but also how you are able to interact with the customers. If you don't have good relationships with the public, if you're not a people person, it's going to be a struggle.
Remember, PR is a communication business. For it to truly work, you need to be able to comfortably communicate with them, and they need to be able to expertly craft your message and communicate that. That's very important, is to craft that message and be able to communicate it.
Couldn't agree with you more there. Now, Mark, let's do some role playing here. Let's start from the large side of the spectrum. Say I'm the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I would really appreciate that raise. That would be a beautiful thing. For now, though, let's just pretend I'm the CEO, Fortune 500 company. I'm considering hiring a PR firm to handle our public relations. What should I consider when selecting the right firm for such a major business?
Well, you want to ask them how long have they been in business and which media outlets have they placed stories in? How would they define a successful campaign? Get a sense in their mindset, how they view the process. Discuss how you would define success and see if there's a common thread. How do they work when it comes to developing story ideas? Are they looking for you to be able to do all the work? Are they asking you for the story ideas? What do they see as your campaign's greatest potential strength? What do they think will be the greatest challenges? Why do they want to work with you, and why do they think it would be a good fit? You need to know that they are excited by the campaign and why. I think those are just some questions to ask that I normally ask. Also, keep in mind, if it feels like a good fit, you need to be able to communicate it with your representatives. You also need trusted advisors who'll tell you if you're going the right way or you're not. If you pick wisely, this could be a start of a very successful and profitable relationship.
Mark, I completely echo those sentiments. One other thing I'd add, take the time to see how much they know about you, this PR firm. How much homework have they done on their end? Are they going into this meeting cold, going to try to learn from just visiting with you? Or have they spent a little bit of time doing their homework, planning out a little bit about your business, and having ideas ready to pitch for you? If they've taken that extra initiative to really prepare for you, that means they are definitely interested in earning your business and keeping your business. They're willing to go the extra mile like we talked about on last week's program, and that could be a huge benefit to your company going forward. Now, Mark, I'm going to flip this around. Let's say I'm a small business owner. I have just a few employees. Outsourcing, finding a PR firm is definitely not an option. What tips do you have for handling PR for a small business owner?
That's very hard, Morgan. I think what you really want to do is find someone in PR that is really, really special and have them mentor somebody internally. It's almost impossible, in my opinion, to do PR internally if that is not a calling for you. It's like an artist. You cannot just manufacture it and do it right. So many people do it internally and do not do it well. And so if you don't have somebody in your staff that is creative, you're in trouble. If you have somebody that's creative, they don't need to be called PR or anything. They probably can do a great PR campaign for you, and they can get it out to the media. So you're going to have to find your creative internal employees and work with them. And I would share it with a trusted PR firm and kind of see what they think.
Now, PR, we know it's a great function that will bridge the gap between the general public and your company or organization. Mark, last question here before we take a quick break. Why is it so important to have that connection, and how can it improve that all-important bottom line?
Well, they need to understand your business. I look at it with founders. So many companies fail when their founder is gone. Why? Because the founder, he breathed the organization. He was able to build it. He's got his idea. So you want a PR firm that is a partner to you, understands your business, appreciates your business. They know what you're looking for. If they're a buyer of your business, they're going to be able to sell it, because they have to love it. They have to understand it. If they can, they're going to be able to deliver that message to your customers, to your constituents, to the public. And thus, your company is known to the way you want it. I always say every company wants to be known to what they're great at. And once that is achieved, it's great. That means the message that you've put in place has been delivered correctly. That is the goal.
Yes, delivering the message correctly and making sure it is received the way you want it to be by the public, vital to any PR campaign. If you want to follow more from Mark Hamade, you can always check out his blog at www.markhamade.com. That's www.markhamade.com. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we'll have Rachel Hind with us. Rachel is the Director of Communications and Military Affairs for the Salina Chamber of Commerce. You're listening to On the Mark with Mark Hamade right here on 95.5 The Rock. Welcome back to On the Mark on Salina's True Rock Station, 95.5 The Rock. I want to take this opportunity to thank some very valued sponsors. We appreciate your sponsorship of On the Mark. Salina Iron and Metal, serving you from the same location for more than 100 years. The Reardon Clinic in Wichita, Kansas. Better Health is just down the road. Call 1-800-447-7276 or go online to www.reardonclinic.org. By PKM Steel and Hassman Termite and Pest Control, providing 50 years of quality service from the Hassman family. Now I'd like to welcome today's guest to the program. It's Rachel Hind. Rachel is the Director of Communications and Military Affairs for the Salina Chamber of Commerce. Rachel joined the Chamber in 2011. Her responsibilities are large. They include developing public relations and marketing programs, producing content for publications, online and social media communications, event coordination, implementing initiatives to build a healthy economy and improve the quality of life for the military and the community in and around Salina. Rachel graduated from KW in 2009 with a BA in Public Relations and a minor in Communications and Biology. She and Melissa McCoy, Public Affairs Manager for the Salina Airport Authority, head the Salina Area Public Relations Group, and co-host a local radio show here, Salina Makes Sense, on one of our competing stations, I might add in there. No, it's honestly a great show. Currently, Rachel's a member of the following: Salina Arts and Humanities Commission, Community Art and Design Advisory Committee, K-State Salina Students and Free Enterprise Board, Salina Area Young Professionals, Volunteer Connection Advisory Board, Misrepresentation Steering Committee, and the USD 305 Stewart Elementary School Site Council. She enjoys spending time with her daughter Liv, her family and friends, and her interests include art, theater, writing, public relations, travel, music, animals, outdoor sports, and running. Rachel, third guest on now in 3 weeks, the third consecutive one with one extremely impressive resume. Welcome to the program.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's really good to be here. And that was a mouthful.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you didn't have to say all that, but
no, that's all right. Want to give you the props that you're due, and we're happy to have you on the program. You're definitely the right person to bring on today for our topic. We're talking about public relations and communicating information, and I know Mark has some great questions lined up for you. I'll turn it over to him now, and I look forward to hearing the dialogue you guys have. It should be a lot of fun.
Thank you, Morgan. What I was saying earlier, some people achieve greatness and some hire public relations officers. So my first question to you, Rachel, is what does public relations mean to you?
To me, it's really strategic communications between an organization and an audience and promoting the goodwill of the organization. Overall, it's the art of persuasion.
I totally agree. And that's very, very important. It's persuading that company or that individual to believe in what you're telling them and to truly buy in. And I think no company does that better than Apple.
Or the Chamber of Commerce in Salina, Kansas, of course.
Absolutely. The Salina Chamber does a great job for all its members. Speaking of that, the rarest of all things in America in life is charm. And we spend billions of dollars every year manufacturing charm. So my question to you is, a clay tablet was found in Iraq from around 2000 BC, which told farmers how to sow crops. And that is considered to be the earliest known example of public relation. So, Rachel, does Dennis allow you to use a clay tablet in your job?
He encourages me to use multiple clay tablets in my job. We use clay tablets that range from publications to online content, social media, and the various networking opportunities of the chamber, which are very, very many. So, yes, he does.
Clay tablets have really improved in quality over the past 4,000 years.
Yes, thankfully. I mean, clay tablet today, wow, yeah.
We've come a long way.
Absolutely.
Yes. It's amazing that was the earliest form of what I call PR. Now, within all of that, there's digital marketing and the use of internet and tools and technology such as search engines, Web 2.0, social media. What tools do you use, Rachel? And what is your favorite?
Well, the bottom line is today, in PR or marketing, you need to be as competitive as you can. And you need to use any and every tool that's going to impact your business positively. So for me, I use publications, we use email marketing, we use lots of social media. Overall, I operate like 16 social media accounts. Thankfully, we have other people within the chamber that are also admins on those pages and that assist in sharing our message. I also attend lots of networking events, and I feel like people underestimate the value of networking. How can you effectively communicate to Salina, Kansas, how great your organization is, or even let's say you're running for office, in Salina? The best opportunity is being a part of the community and showing that you're a great person and being well liked, right?
Absolutely.
That's excellent. I would echo those sentiments. Now, what I want to let people know, and the listeners out there, is advertising is not PR. A lot of people have this misconception that when you advertise, put an ad out, that's PR. It is not. They're completely different. So within that, Rachel, what I want to ask you is, what does communication mean to you?
Communication to me is really just the exchange of information, okay, between one party to another. But going back to what you just said about advertising, it's kind of confusing for people. Is PR the same as marketing, or, what's the difference? Traditionally, marketing has been more associated with developing campaigns and promotions that are directly tied to driving sales. Oftentimes, marketing includes public relations and advertising as components to an overall campaign. Some examples would be email marketing, webinars, pay-per-click campaigns, trade shows, search engine optimization, stuff like that. Like Steel Days, that's a great opportunity for the public to understand your business and to be informed about what you offer and to also learn more about the community. I mean, you in essence are saying, hey, check out all of Salina and check out what we do. And you're bringing in these top speakers. That's just a great example of PR.
One of the things that I always say, modern life is conceived through communication. So you want to be able to communicate well. And if you're not a good communicator, you want to try to improve. It's important. It's very, very important. Now, in saying that, Rachel, how do you use communication to effectively do your job?
Okay, well, remember all those tablets I just talked about? That's the way that I effectively do my job. There's no doubt that the people that surround you in your organization, whether it be like for me, the Military Affairs Council, or other volunteers, whether it's the Volunteer Connection, you can be very successful by your own initiative, but when you bring the right people in who have the same passion as you, you are going to be even more successful. That's adding on to those tablets.
Excellent, excellent. A lot of people, I think when they're growing up in high school, college, etc., want to get into PR and communication. So what advice, Rachel, would you give people interested in working in the field, and how do you think they should go about it? Okay,
well, I think, first of all, if you're interested in this, you need to spend some time visiting marketing directors, PR directors. You need to visit the media outlets. You need to see if this is something that you want to do, because we all work closely in a partnership. If this is something that someone is interested in doing, they need to get an internship, because that allows them to have that real world experience. And also, after you graduate, it gives you an opportunity to put on your resume for potential employers your skill set.
How did your internship help you out, Rachel?
I worked on the campaign for the public art. And as you know, that's a very controversial topic here in Salina. And it was a great experience for me. I had to do a lot of research, find out the attitudes within the community about PR, what marketing they had previously done, and then look at this and say, okay, what can they do differently in the future that's going to change those perceptions?
That's awesome. So it gave your employer also a chance to see what you could do.
Absolutely.
Opened up doors for the future. It gave you a chance to find out that going into PR was something you were interested in doing. You had the real world experience there. You decided you liked it. You wanted to pursue it. You had employers out there who had seen what you were able to do, and you had a body of work to share with other potential employers.
Yes. A lot of public relations work involves changing the perception, whether it's public art or a product. I work on a campaign at the Chamber called the Salina Makes Sense campaign. And this campaign's a lot easier because we have Business Week magazine putting out information like we're rated, as the top place to raise kids in the state of Kansas, or the most affordable place to live. That's our most recent statistic, or the best place to retire. And what's great about this is when you have other entities putting out this information, it makes it so much easier for an organization to share it with a community, because it's not just you working hard to come up with something. You know what I mean?
Yep. Rachel's done that networking. I can vouch for that. I receive 3 to 4 emails a week from Rachel, different things going on with the chamber, with military affairs. We pass those on to Todd, who handles our Today in Kansas website. They end up on the Today in Kansas website. They end up on others. So you writing one story has disseminated information to all of Salina through the internet, through radio, and that is one major function of public relations. You put the word out. You put not necessarily a spin on something, but the highlights of the article, what positives it's providing for the city. And then you get that information out there. Like you said, you're networking in with your connected media partners who share that wealth with the public.
That is right.
It's like a pot roast. It has to have a taste. A lot of people put out information, but no one reads it or listens to it. It has to have taste, and it has to have some meatness in it. So people will read it. And then if it's good, they'll be there. And then every time you push your message out, people will listen.
I agree with you. I just gave a presentation today on social media, and, there's a lot to be said for the frequency of your communications. If you overdo it, people are going to stop listening. And my tip that I give to people is, rather than guessing what people want your organization to do, why don't you ask the people? We recently asked the chamber membership, how often do you want to receive our emails? Well, they said just twice a month. So, listen to what people around you want, and your message is going to be more effective.
It has to have value. I Twitter, I Facebook, all that stuff, but sometimes I'll do 10 in an hour. Sometimes I'll do 1 in a month. It all depends. It has to have value. If it has value, I'm going to share it. If it doesn't, I won't. That's, to me, also very, very important with frequency.
That is excellent stuff, guys. Rachel, we appreciate you coming on the show. Actually, we're starting to get into a little bit of talk here about social media. When we come back from our break, we'll dive into our social media mailbox to pull a question from one of our listeners. It involves social media. You want to stick around and help with the question?
I would love to. Thank you.
All right, we'll do that right after this. You're checking out On the Mark with Mark Hamade right here on 95.5 The Rock. Welcome back to On the Mark with Mark Hamade on 95.5 The Rock, Salina's true rock station. Our show tonight presented by Salina Iron and Metal, serving you from the same location for more than 100 years. By PKM Steel, Reardon Clinic of Wichita. Their doctors listen. Find out more by calling 1-800-447-7276 or going online to reardonclinic.org, and by Hassman Termite and Pest Control, providing 50 years of quality service from the Hassman family. Dusty Weigert writes tonight, would you agree or disagree that social media is a necessary evil to a successful PR campaign? Your thoughts, Mark?
Well, Dusty, I'm going to say this. I always say be yourself. Above all, let who you are, what you are, shine through every word you say. So in answering your question, if you say it's a necessary evil, I would suggest you truly understand what social media is and embrace it. Maybe the way you're using it, it's not getting value. So if you're not using it correctly, then you may think it's a necessary evil because you're not getting the results that you want. It's a very, very powerful tool, and I will argue that it doesn't take that much time. I spend less than 10 minutes a day on social networking, yet I'm involved with a lot. Everybody thinks that I spend hours and hours. Absolutely not.
And I believe Mark's LinkedIn page in the top 1% of page views on LinkedIn worldwide. Obviously, what you're doing, Mark, is going well.
You have to hone in your message, and it has to come from the heart, and it has to have some teeth, and it has to be embraced. And I've always said that. And so it's very, very important to do that. I think it'd be interesting to see, what Dusty uses, what he doesn't use, and why he feels that way. If it's used properly and used in the right situations, it can be a very, very powerful tool. It doesn't take that much time to do, and it can add a lot of benefit.
Rachel, what advice would you have for Dusty?
Dusty, it's free, first of all. Second, I agree with Mark. I would be interested in finding out what you are doing and how you're engaging your audience, because that's super important when using social media. And you know what? You have to make it fun. I could tell you 50 different ways of things that you could do for your organization, whether it's contests or polls that are going to engage people, and it's valuable feedback that you can implement in your future marketing.
See, I don't view it as a necessary evil at all. I view it as necessary. There's nothing evil about social media. It's a great tool. It's free, like you said, Rachel, and it provides great benefit. For instance, we use it on our Salina radio stations. We have one for 95.5 at facebook.com/955therock, and for all three of our stations at facebook.com/Salina radio. A couple of shameless plugs right there. So we encourage you to go check out our Facebook pages all the time, but we try to keep it fun. We do giveaways, we do contests, we offer up free stuff, but at the same time, that's a great way to keep people coming back in, checking out the page, and that way they are more receptive to the information you put out there. We disseminate a lot of our Today in Kansas stories through our Facebook pages, so people that don't necessarily go to todayinkansas.com will still have a chance to see the content that's posted up there. That's where a lot of your stories end up. They go from Today in Kansas, once I receive them from you, Rachel, they're put onto our Facebook page, so we are using social media not only to support our Today in Kansas platform, but also to disseminate information. But you got to keep it fun for people. You got to give them that opportunity to enjoy it. If they like it, they'll come back. They'll come back for the contest, but they'll also come back and see the information that you put out there.
Absolutely. And one thing I'll add, Morgan, is, I don't blog because I just want to blog, or social network because I just want to do it. People have asked me, people want to listen. So if what you're doing doesn't work, then you probably should stop it or doing it differently. It's like I've had sometimes PR firms come to me and tell me, well, you're too upfront, Mark. You're too this, you're too that. And then I look at their page and they've got 300 followers and I've got 13,000. So I'm like, well, okay. You know what? When you can have as many followers as I do, then you can talk to me about how to do it. So, it's important to really, is your message going across? Are people listening? Are people thanking you for what you blog? Then is it helping? If it's adding value and helping someone, then continue to do it and don't stop. But if nobody's following you, if you've got 2 followers or 1 or whatever, then it is probably a necessary evil. You're wasting your time. That's the truth.
Definitely utilize it, promote it. If you have social media outlets, if you have a Facebook page for your business out there, you got like 58 followers, it's not going well, you need to find ways to really utilize that. Incorporate in-store promotions. Just find other ways. I mean, advertising's always a great option. We can provide that. Other groups can provide that for you as well. You can go TV, you can go print, you can go radio, you can do direct mailings, lots of different ways to get people to your Facebook page. And once they're there, they have an opportunity to keep coming back, seeing all kinds of new information you have. It's like advertising and public relations all mixed into one for you on a day-to-day basis.
You have to be genuine, too. You have to believe in yourself. You have to be genuine. I'm not saying embarrass people or be rude or whatever, but you have to take a stand. In essence, you have to have a backbone. And if you don't have a backbone, I don't care if you're Twittering, you're Facebooking, or you're talking to your grandmother, it will be seen through. If you're going to say something, believe in it.
So, Dusty, I think we can all pretty much agree here that social media is necessary to a successful PR campaign, but it's not an evil. It's a tool to be used as good, and really familiarize yourself with social media. Try a number of different ways that you can promote whatever business you're out there looking to promote. Dusty, we appreciate you writing in. You will be receiving our $25 Tucson Steakhouse gift card. And keep in mind, folks, anytime you got questions, always write in. I post them every Friday on our Facebook page. If we use your question for the show, you'll score that $25 Tucson Steakhouse gift certificate. We thank Tucson's for providing those for our program. Rachel, thanks again for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Mark, always a pleasure to have you here on the program. We'll have you back next week when we talk with Fred Korn from the Salina Masonic Center. Guys, thanks again. And everyone, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of On the Mark with Mark Hamade right here on 95.5 The Rock. Have a good evening.